some other thing, pretty much very serious question, but I was wondering, what is it you believe in when it's about religion or something? Do you believe in God?
I believe in many gods. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of God in everything. I think, you know, I'm more starting to believe that the Earth is this great big organism, but even it, the energy that fuels it and is constantly mulching it, is definitely the work of, many different gods. And whether or not we're part of a even bigger organism in the universe, who knows?
Yeah, you really think so?
Yeah, so the science of it is something I'm just getting into, but the religious and the spiritual aspect of it is something I've always been into, and always curious as to what all the great avatars and prophets have said over the years.
Yeah.
And more than spending my time worshiping any particular one, I choose to live my life more as they would have, or I'd like to think that if Jesus and, Krishna were alive today, they'd want to come over and, burn the doobie down, and we sort of high five and listen to some music and go surfing and whatnot. And
Yeah.
and
So you managed to turn it into a serious subject into something very
absolutely,
to shrug your shoulders by, so to
well,
speak.
just because I don't see why it ever has to be such a serious subject. It's only the laws and the rules that apply to certain religions that make it so serious.
Yeah.
Once you start applying like thou shalt not do this, and you better not do this, and you'll upset the gods. I think
It's
that's
nothing for
bullshit.
you.
Absolute bullshit. The gods only want, first of all, I don't even think the gods are human. I think for a man to assume that gods and goddesses look like humans is absurd. I think that's only man worshiping himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
God must look like me. I'm an attractive guy. That's ridiculous, Certainly, I think there's been prophets over the years that have got life figured out, but, I don't think that makes them, eternal and have all these, should have such a profound effect on people, other than remind people to keep your heart open, keep your mind open, and live a happy life, while you're here and while you're part of this vast organism.
Would you say that what you just said is a message you'd like to come across in your music, or?
I think it is. Yeah, I think because I've always written songs that sort of, I at least write songs when I'm questioning my faith, or when I'm diving deeper down that road of existentialism. And
So it is something that keeps you going in your mind a lot.
Absolutely. It's definitely something that makes me tick, because the more I'm open to trying to figure out what life is about, the more, I don't know, the more stories I feel like I have to tell, the more lessons I feel like I'm learning that are important for me to share.
Yeah.
Have
Have you already found an answer to a couple of questions, big questions in life, or?
No, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah.
That's the most recent answer I've been given. Is like, the more questions I ask and the more answers I find, I'm reduced even more back to just a child who knows nothing. And that, I think, might be the secret.
Yeah. Yesterday, as we said, you did a showcase. It's very small, and you're just on your own. Just a small, what's the thing called you're sitting on?
My seat.
Yeah, a seat, and just your guitar. And you're gonna do a couple of more of those shows. Is it something you do a lot for, just to get yourself out there in a very simple way?
Yeah, I've never been regulated to any particular size room to play, When I'm at home in San Diego, I play Sunday nights down in a coffee shop to a room of 80 people.
Yeah.
And
you feel very comfortable with it,
absolutely.
it seems.
And
more than big shows?
Yeah, of course, because then you can actually communicate individually with everyone in the room, and it's just a performance space, really. And a performance space is no different when there's 20 people there, or there's 200 people, or 2,000 people.
Yeah.
It's still a performance space. It's still a chance to get creative and see what you can do with the room and the energy, and
get some feedback too.
And get some feedback, yeah, exactly. So I'm not limited to one thing or the other. I'll play shows 4 or 5 times a week for, my girlfriend and my cat, and then I'll play.
And your chicken, of course.
And my chicken, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't really care.
It's
what
all
I'm
it's all
playing.
good.
It's all good. It's all the same.
Yeah. But another thing you can do with how when you can communicate a lot with people when it's a small crowd, you also like to trick people.
I just trick them.
Yeah.
How do I trick them?
Well, just mixing up lyrics and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I just do that.
That's
for
pretty
myself. Is it? No.
Nah, it's fun, of course.
Yeah,
but-
it's keeping it fresh for me, and I mean, I've sung these songs millions of times, and every so often, like a light goes on, you're like, oh, this is a new way I could sing this,
Yeah.
or maybe it's time to update the verses a little bit, you know, because some songs do represent a time in my life, or like a song like Curbside Prophets from my first album.
Yeah.
It's very specific to this sort of late 90s and turn of the century time of my life, and when I sing that song now, it seems very irrelevant, but
Yeah.
but I still love the song, and there's still elements of the song that people love, so I'm finding that if I just update the verses a little bit, the song is still the same song,
Yeah.
but